What if this wasn't fake? A Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written and narrated by Eleanor Rose. Artwork provided by RoseKasa on Tumblr. You can find a link to their social media in the description box. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and check out other videos on this channel for more fanfiction. And if you find the narration speed to be either too fast or too slow, you can adjust it by clicking on the settings icon on the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and a comment to help the YouTube algorithm. No, put your left foot here! Marinette laughed as Cat Noir tried to twirl her, dancing in her bedroom with Christmas lights glistening. They'd taped them up a few hours earlier, only to go back and redo it all with command hooks. That was a story in and of itself, but Marinette was sure she'd reminisce on it some other time. It's not like she could tell Ollie about it, but maybe she could pass it along to strangers on the internet via YouTube or Tumblr, although they'd think it was a self-insert fanfiction. I give up, Cat. Now can we please attack those cookies? They're just waiting to be martyrs, after all, Marinette said. She'd brought them up 40 minutes earlier, and they've been taunting her ever since. All she wanted to do was taste where butter met flour and egg, teased with chocolate chunks, and give up. That's not like you, my love. Cat pulled her torso close to his, and it brought a flush to her face. She wasn't used to him calling her his love yet, even though they've started using the L-bomb in private as practice. Well, everything between them was in private. The consequences of letting the world know the truth about their dating status would be too harsh. I can feel my blood sugar dropping. Please. She added an extra emphasis on the word. Please, can we eat now? You say that like you're starving and they're a full meal in and of themselves. Of course they are, if you have enough of them. He laughed, and she could feel each rise and fall of his chest as if it were her own. Yes, a well-balanced diet, quite nutritious. For my soul, Marinette said, winking. It took all of her self-control to break from his grasp, but sugar was a strong motivating factor this time around. Cat caught her by the hips, deterring her pursuit. Babe, let's get something healthy in there first, okay? If you're suggesting broccoli... No, I meant carbs, pasta, bread, something more than 30 grams of sugar per bite. You're just self-conscious because a commenter on the lady blog called you tubby, huh? He laughed and patted his stomach. No, I'm not. Although, thanks for the reminder. It's a shame we let these get cold, Marinette sighed. She reached for one, stretching as Cat held her back. She smacked his hand and glared. Now you're just doing it for kicks and giggles. He flashed a catnip-eating grin before spinning her around and stealing the plate. These are for Santa, remember? I was anointed his servant to keep you off the naughty list. You'll get a red nose when I lock you outside in the cold, rude elf. Cat laughed before offering her the plate. Here, he said, the inflection of his voice different than moments earlier. I'll go get milk. Cat Noir sauntered downstairs, teasing her by taking his time. He knew she wouldn't hold back once he's out of eyeline, but he also knew she'd get self-conscious after about the third cookie. He made sure to greet Mama Chang and Poppy Dupang, of course. After assuring them he'd get at least one routine down with Marinette before the Christmas party, he made his way back upstairs as quietly as he could, hoping to surprise Marinette by catching her in the act. Cat opened his mouth to say boo as he opened the door, but what he saw flabbergasted him. There was a Kwame. Tiki. Tiki was there, and her look of horror matched the level of surprise on his face. Was Ladybug in trouble? Did she send Tiki to give Marinette a miraculous because she couldn't find him? What's wrong? He asked. Face hardened. Where's Ladybug? Is she hurt? She and Marinette exchanged glances. No, Tiki began. I just prefer the cookies from the Duping Chang bakery. You know, like Plag and Leon's cheese store? Oh. His chest caved in release. Huh. That must be how Marinette earned enough trust with Ladybug to get a Miraculous. He saw Leon nearly every day, so this bakery must be on her usual route. Well, I'm glad you found your meal of choice. Funny, Marinette said, a twinkle in her eye. I thought you said cookies weren't a meal. He flashed a grin. What do you say we get back to those dance lessons? You're really looking for sore feet, huh? You're a toothpick, Mare. It's like getting stepped on by a fat cat. Oh? She raised an eyebrow. I'm a fat cat now. A bowling ball on pins. Marinette laughed at the analogy, lighting a glow in his heart. Well, that's actually a pretty good description of my dancing skills. He pulled her closer, wearing a small smile. We've only got 2 more days until Christmas, you know. May as well make the most of it. It's not like you haven't already met most of my family. Yeah. He nodded, wishing he could show up as Adrian. But you knowing me and you dating me are 2 different things in their eyes. You know, it's killing my father to keep this quiet, Marinette said, pressing her forehead to his chest. He sighed, wrapping his arms around her back to squeeze her tighter before placing a kiss atop her head. Yeah, I know. It's not like this was ideal for them, but that's what happens when a mask gets thrown into a relationship. What if... Marinette began, hesitating. What if this wasn't fake? Pardon? Was she asking what he thought she was? What he hoped she was? Never mind. Kat couldn't tell what face she wore as she buried it deeper into his chest. No, I'm listening. She took a deep breath. What if we weren't pretending to date? Okay, take your time when answering, Kat. You know that's the best way to approach. I'm game, he said. Marinette pushed off his chest to look up at him. You mean it? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think you'd want to, so I didn't bring it up first, but if you are, then yes, I'd like to date you. For real. Her eyebrows knit together. But don't you like Ladybug? He laughed, but not in a way that told her he found it funny. I thought you had a crush of your own. The guilt on her face painted a picture. Had, she echoed. Ladybug will always be precious to me, Kat said, and part of me will always love her, but there's a pretty girl in my arms asking me to date her. There's nothing I'd rather say yes to. Her face flushed and she turned around, pressing her back to his chest. Okay then. That's it? He teased. No kiss to celebrate the occasion? The transfer of this relationship? She turned around to make eye contact, face flushed in a way that kick-started his heart. Marinette raised herself onto her tiptoes, face drawing closer, and Kat closed his eyes. Wow. This was it. This was the moment he'd remember for. Something pressed against his lips, but it wasn't the soft, warm sensation he'd expected. Before he could get a grasp on what was happening, his mouth was forced open and he nearly choked in surprise. Eyelids flapping open, Kat saw Marinette giggling uncontrollably as she attempted to stuff a cookie in his mouth. Wow, he said, muffled by the cookie. You really played me like that, huh? I'm serious when I say I want to make this charade real, Marinette began. But you set yourself up so well, I couldn't help myself. You know what? Kat said, removing the cookie. Let's talk about this later. What do you say to some Hallmark movie and dinner? Cookies? He sighed. Yes. Cookies. Then that sounds delightful. They curled up on the chase, watching some American love story as Cat Noir took the scene in. Did he expect to go from pretend to real lovers tonight? Nope. Were they about to tell the Ladyblog the last 2 months together was a charade to help rectify a bad rumor that hurt people in his life thanks to a Ladyblog article? Also no. But the unintended consequences were wonderful and welcome. Closing his eyes, Cat rested his head on Marinette's shoulder, feeling warm and safe and happy all at the same time. This year was going to be a great Christmas. Thank you so much for listening, and one more thank you goes out to RoseKasa for the use of her art in this video. You can find more fanfiction by checking out other videos on this channel. I'll catch you guys next time!